$16 a month. That is what it costs to turn on the heated seats your car already came with. The wires, the coils, the button, all bolted in at the factory. You owned the seat. You did not own the heat. This was BMW 2022. And if you have ever wondered, why is everything a subscription now? Why your car, your printer, your treadmill, and half the apps on your phone all quietly want a piece of your bank account every single month? That heated seat is where this story starts. Because it is not really about seats. It is about the slow, deliberate death of owning things. In today's video, we will follow the money from your heated seat all the way to a $2.5 billion button that Amazon literally named after a Greek war. To understand how it got here, you have to understand the trick. And the trick is always the same. They sell you the hardware, then they rent you the feature. Take your printer. HP has an ink subscription called Instant Ink, and it sounds convenient. New cartridges show up before you run out. But read HP's own support page, and there is a line that should stop you cold. If you cancel, your cartridges, the physical plastic ink tank sitting in your printer, stop working. Not empty, full of ink, and dead. That is HP's own wording. They will no longer work even if they still contain ink. You paid for the ink. You are holding the ink. You cannot use the ink. Then there is Peloton. You buy the bike, $2,000 of chrome and steel, and almost none of it works without a monthly membership. Stop paying, and the most expensive coat rack in your house is finished. And Mercedes, this one is my favorite, will sell you an electric car that can already accelerate faster, the motor is right there, and then charge you $60 a month to unlock the speed the car is physically capable of. The horsepower ships in the car, the permission ships from the cloud. 3 objects, 1 pattern. By the end of this, you will know exactly why every company on Earth suddenly wants this. Why the one law that was supposed to protect you just got killed, and what you actually still own. Spoiler, it is less than you think. So why did everyone pivot to this at the same time? Follow the money, because the money is the whole story. When you buy something once, a company gets one spike of revenue and then silence. They have to go win you all over again next year. But a subscription is a customer who pays automatically, forever, until they remember to stop. And most people never remember to stop. Wall Street figured this out and fell in love. A company with predictable monthly revenue is worth more, sometimes many times more, than one that sells you a great product once and says thank you. There is even a name for it. A guy named Tien Zuo coined the phrase, the subscription economy, back in 2007 and built a billion-dollar company just helping other companies bill you every month. And here is the part they are counting on. In 2022, a research firm called C+R asked 1,000 Americans to guess what they spend on subscriptions each month. People guessed $86. Their actual average was $219. That is $133 a month, leaking out of the average wallet that people did not even know was gone. A separate study by West Monroe put the real number even higher. The business model is not the subscription. The business model is you forgetting. But if forgetting is the plan, then remembering is the threat. And that is where it gets ugly, because companies started engineering the cancel button to be as painful as legally possible. Now, I want to be fair, because not all of this is evil. Some subscriptions are honestly fine. You probably do not want to buy Netflix outright. The problem is not the model. The problem is what they do when you try to leave. Take Adobe. If you were on their annual plan paid monthly and tried to cancel, you would run into a fee, 50% of everything left on your contract, sometimes hundreds of dollars. And Adobe had buried that landmine in fine print behind a hyperlink most people never clicked. The US government sued them over it in 2024, and this year, in 2026, Adobe settled for $150 million while admitting nothing. But the greatest cancel button ever built belongs to Amazon. When the FTC dug into how hard it was to quit Amazon Prime, they found something almost too perfect. Amazon's own engineers had an internal nickname for the cancellation flow. They called it the Iliad, as in Homer's Iliad, the war that dragged on for 10 years. 4 pages, 6 clicks, 15 separate chances to talk you out of it. They named the unsubscribe button after a decade-long siege on purpose, and they wrote it down. That one cost Amazon $2.5 billion in a settlement last year. And if you ever fought your way out of Prime, some of that refund money has your name on it. So the government is fighting back, one giant company at a time. And you would think, okay, surely by now there is just a law, a rule that says canceling has to be as easy as signing up. And there almost was. It was called the click to cancel rule. It would have forced exactly that. No mazes, no 15 screens. And it was set to become law on July 14th, 2025. 6 days before it took effect, a federal appeals court killed the entire thing. Not because the idea was wrong, but on a technicality. The agency skipped a required economic paperwork step, so the court threw out the whole rule. Which means, as of right now, in 2026, there is no federal click-to-cancel law in America. The single protection you probably assumed already exists does not. It got deleted on a procedural footnote 6 days from the finish line. And somewhere underneath all of this is a quieter loss that no lawsuit is going to fix. There used to be a version of owning things where you paid once and it was yours, and it kept working whether the company that sold it still existed or not. A book on a shelf, a disc in a case, a car that did everything it could do the day you drove it home. That version is fading, one monthly charge at a time, and getting replaced by a world where you hold the object but rent the function, and the second you stop paying, the thing you bought forgets how to work. So why is everything a subscription now? Because ownership was the one deal where the company lost its grip on you the moment you paid. Renting never ends, and a customer who can never really finish buying is worth more than one who did. Here is what you can actually do. Tonight, audit the auto pays you forgot about. Almost everyone finds at least one. And remember that BMW heated seat we opened with. It has an ending. The backlash got so loud that in 2023, BMW quietly killed it. That is the whole point. The only reason that seat is free again is that enough people refuse to pretend this was normal. If you want to see how deep this goes, how the movies and games you already paid for can vanish overnight, watch this one next. This has been Open Lens World.